My parents don't want me to ever move away from home, no matter how well I am doing, and insist that if I ever leave, I'm going to fail, and fail hard, but I feel like it's finally time for me to spread my wings and gain some independence. Posted by you/anxiety may be moving. Hello, relationships. I apologize in advance for the length. Sorry if this is a long ramble, I don't know how to put this in a narrative. So, I, 23F, have generalized anxiety disorder, which disrupted a lot of my life, and naturally, my parents, 50F, 57M, are extremely protective of me. I would get panic attacks, go through extremely bad relationships, and worry over nonsensical things. They told me all my life not to worry about getting a job and to just let them pay for things. I would feel pretty guilty about this, especially since my parents were always giving money to my bio dad to take care of my severely autistic brother, and to my older sister who is a kid and has terrible money issues of her own from her own screw-ups. She crashes cars, got fired from work all the time, and more. So every chance I got, I would try to get a job, but my parents would always talk me out of it, saying I'm not worried and that they would take care of it. I was in high school, so I didn't have much free time anyway. This was fine as a teenager, but now I'm 23. I'm constantly driving between campuses and my internship, while also living an active social life and participating in the speech/debate team, which gives me a grant that covers half the tuition. I make straight A's despite any trouble I run into, and just today found out that since I turned 24 in September, I qualify for a Pell Grant that will cover my tuition. Not to mention I am only 6 classes away from graduating with my BA. My anxiety is also 10 times better, and I feel extremely accomplished. Even my speech coaches have told me they're so proud of how far I've come. But every summer during my college years, I would try to find a job, and my parents would make me quit. I only succeeded in keeping one job at a retail store, and they decided to push me to babysit my brother so much I had to quit for the family. After I quit, my babysitting duties suspiciously subsided. I am only allowed $200 a month for food expenses and gas, and since I go to school every day back and forth in between my internship, this isn't enough to sustain myself. I tried to bargain for more. They say I need to budget. I offer to get a job. They say absolutely not. Thing is, this is my last year. My tuition is being paid for by myself, and I only take 3 classes a semester now. This would be perfect to get a job to save up some money and to move out and transition to true independence. I also have an amazing, loving boyfriend who wants to take the next step and have me move in with him. I'm delighted, but my parents 100% do not approve, despite him being so polite and making so much effort to get to know them. He bought my little brother 2 expensive Transformers toys and didn't receive any thank you from them at all, much less any effort to even talk to him. I feel so discouraged. I tried hinting that I want to leave, but they keep saying weird stuff like you're not done cooking yet and how I need to focus on my studies. Well, I've been focusing on my studies and obviously they are fine. When I told my stepdad about potentially having good news about my grant money, he immediately berated me. No, you're not moving out, even though I wasn't even going to talk about it. They put a lot of pressure on me to do impromptu milk runs in the middle of the night, to take care of my brother while they go out. They say I can come and go as I please, but demand me to text where I am throughout the day and make extremely snide remarks about how I practically live at my boyfriend's, even though they established that it was supposed to be absolutely fine. I'm getting sick of living here. I get berated for hanging my bath towel on the incorrect towel rack, have to stop at home to do the dishes between school and my internship even though I'm barely home enough to do the dishes anyway, and I get fussed at for not being home. But when I am at home, they don't even acknowledge my existence unless they need something. I'm so tired of them seeing all my anxieties as me not being ready, and not seeing the strides I could make on my own. But I'm still conflicted. I don't want to lose them. I just want to move out and live my life freely and develop responsibility. I feel weird that they aren't even letting me do that. I don't feel like I'm even home here anymore. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Maybe I'm late, but as someone who has struggled with and overcome my anxiety and panic attacks, your parents are part of why your mental health is in such a bad state. The only way to escape the downward spiral that is the panic trap is to regain your confidence in your ability to survive and ride out life's challenges and your own feelings. In order to do that, you don't have to be alone, but you do have to be left to your own devices. Neither your parents nor medication is going to cure you or protect you. The ability is within yourself. To access it, your parents have to step back and let you do you. Please be strong and move out. Get in touch with a therapist specializing in anxiety disorders and CBT if you feel that you want to stop living and suffering like this. If you have any questions regarding panic attacks and the like, feel free to drop me a message. Ops response. This touched me. I've been a long-time sufferer of anxiety since I can remember, and there were times when I wanted to cry and my parents would barge into my room and demand what's wrong when I just wanted to be left alone. It caused me to start crying in my car so they wouldn't see or hear. My parents did give me help with my anxiety though, and made me do therapy. I have medication for it and it's manageable. But I've started to notice my anxiety stems from being away from home too long out of fear that my parents will berate me, not because I wanted to be there. When I stay the weekend with my boyfriend, I'm actually less anxious and more happy. When I go back to my parents and then visit my boyfriend again, my boyfriend comments on how I'm weirdly defensive and anxious all over again. I feel like I can move out by the end of the year at the very latest. Although my boyfriend has offered to let me stay with him even without a job, I want to find a job first and contribute to the rent. I don't think I want to be dependent on anyone ever again. I'm finding a bit of difficulty because of school and my lack of work history, but I am applying every day. Commenter 2. They put a lot of pressure on me to do impromptu milk runs in the middle of the night. What the F do they need all that milk for in the middle of the night? They need to go the F to sleep instead of drinking all the effing milk. Ops response. Right? My mom is obsessed with milk for some reason. If I'm coming home late from a speech/debate rehearsal for my talent grant, which lasts 3 whole entire effing hours, she would ask me to bring home milk, even though it's so freaking late. It's happened more than once, to the point where my close friends joke about it. Commenter 3. Just FYI, this is a thing on r/raised by narcissists and just normal. Everyone has a milk story. And a bathroom towel story. It's super weird how many consistencies there are between all these people. Op adds an edit to her post. Wow. I never imagined my post would get this big. I am extremely grateful for the advice and constructive criticism. I do think my parents have slight narcissism issues, but ultimately, in their weird way, they seem to think they are doing the best by me while also taking extreme advantage of the situation. I'm applying to multiple part-time jobs and have been for a while, but the advice everyone has given out has just reaffirmed that I must do this. Once I get a job and have a decent amount of income, I am going to let my mother know that I will move, and that she can't say anything to change my mind. I know she'll be pissed, and that my stepdad will be enraged, but I suppose that's the cost of seeking happiness. I might schedule a therapist appointment in the meantime with someone who is quite familiar with how my mother can be, and seek her advice as well. Thank you, everyone. Again, I truly appreciate the outside perspective. Update 2 months later. So, a lot has happened. Let me just say I appreciate everything you guys have told me. I reread your comments, and it's amazing how many instances I ignored from my parents that were extremely wrong of them to do. Thank you so much for your advice and concerns. I felt extremely vindicated, but more than that, I finally felt not crazy, which was extremely important to me. Anyway, on to the update. So after reading all the comments, I made the decision to apply to jobs. I applied to all I could find and actually landed a decent paying job as a front desk associate. Also, I got 2 grants from my school to pay for my entire tuition, and have some extra money. So yay! I landed the job, got my grant money, and talked to my boyfriend. We both agreed that I should move out, and he was more than willing to have me move in for $500 a month. I was thrilled and sat down with my parents. They did not take it well. They told me I couldn't live somewhere else and stay on their insurance. They told me I was making the worst decision of my life and threatened to take me off all insurance and to cut me off completely. As a person who has to take Prozac every day to function like a normal human being, this terrified me. They told me they'd let me get a job this time, even though I did it behind their backs, but that moving out against the agreement they had with me was wrong. We never had an agreement. They simply told me that I had to live with them, period. This broke my heart, and my boyfriend decided to talk with them next time with me, this time bringing a financial planning paper we both worked on to show we thought about things and we had a budget. We talked to his parents, and they were thrilled and everything. My parents shot me down again. The entire meeting in front of my boyfriend, my parents told me I was incapable of living on my own, that I wouldn't last out there in the real world, and that I never finished anything I sought out to do. Even though I am a straight A student. Even though I got not 1, but 2 college grants. Even though I am literally a state champion in speech and debate. They guilted me and made me feel bad for wanting to move out, accusing me of abandoning the family, and told me flat out that I would fail, period. That I would not be able to accomplish anything, and that I would be miserable. I'm not even exaggerating. They legit said I wouldn't accomplish anything. I then tried to compromise and asked them, if I was to still live at home, to allow me to live a relatively free life to come and go. And if they wanted me to quit my job, to give me a little bit more to live off of since I'm trying to make a life for myself out there. Nope. They said I belonged at home, period, for the sake of me being home in case they needed me. I don't mind helping out at all, but home for the sake of just being around? Doing nothing? Writing this, I still feel like I'm plain out disobeying them and feeling guilty for being upset at how they treated me. I feel like I have to justify every sentence I say, and that in itself isn't right. I think they love me in their way, but I couldn't live with them anymore. At this moment, I realized my parents would never look at me and see anything but the mistakes I've made in my life, and see me as a crutch. I was so sad I didn't have their support, but I got out. Now, I live with my boyfriend and things are good. We are still packing, but I have never felt happier. I look forward to going home now. I barely have panic attacks, and my job is going very well. I'm learning how to budget for bills, and after fighting hard, I managed to get my parents to keep me on medical insurance, but I think I can make it work. Thanks again, everyone, for their advice. Just wanted to let you all know I took it, and I don't regret it at all. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Yay for your supportive boyfriend and his parents. Some parents want their kids to live at home after college, get a job, and save money. My dad was like that, as he thinks rent is foolish spending, but yours didn't want you to work even when you were making the grade and wanted to. Glad you got out. Now you can have a less stressful existence and more freedom to say no to their demands. One thing I would like to add is that some parents will try to rope you back in with large gifts that come with strings, like helping you with a car, house, or tuition. I would not accept help with any of those things from your parents and would limit my contact with them due to their sabotage of you, lack of support, excessive demands, and manipulative nature. That would just get you sucked right back in. Ops response. Yeah, my parents are known for their apology gifts, so I'll definitely be on the lookout for them trying to rope me back in. Thank you for the heads up. Commenter 2. This is awesome. You're awesome. I can't imagine how frightening this had to be for you, but you stuck to what you wanted out of life and didn't let anyone intimidate you. That's true bravery and strength of character, really. Seriously, feel proud of you, and I've never even met you. I'm certainly no doctor, and I could be way off point, but something tells me that having moved away from your parents, you might find you eventually don't need that Prozac anymore. Ops response. Thank you so much. It sounds great on paper, but it was definitely a messy journey getting out. Lots of fights and lots of tug-of-war, but in the end, it got me here, and I'm happy. Downvoted commenter 3. Not to be a downer, but you can't pay for your own health insurance? I'm reading this as you storming out in a huff, then demanding your parents still pay a sizable sum each month. I mean, it's a great start, but you're basically paying your boyfriend $500 your parents are funding. Did he have a roommate before, or did he just gain $500 a month? Ops response. The $500 covers rent, rental insurance, our internet, and various other bills. We live in a 3-bedroom apartment, and I'm the roommate. I don't even start paying rent until after September is over. As for the medical insurance, I didn't demand them to put me on it. Once my parents realized I was still going to move out, despite them telling me they were taking me off insurance, they told me they would allow me to remain on their insurance, but I would have to pay for the fees the insurance didn't cover, like my appointments every 3 months with my psychiatrist, which is $120. All of my extra money is going to getting new auto insurance for my car, gas, and groceries. So no, I'm not demanding my parents give me money for insurance. They are just allowing me to stay on it, and I pay the other fees. Commenter 4. How is your relationship with your parents now? Are they texting or calling you and trying to get you back? I remember your original post, and I couldn't be happier to read about your happiness. Big slap on the back for you, Op. Ops response. My mom texts me from time to time. I have a closer relationship with her than my stepdad, who did all the threatening to kick me off and all that jazz, while my mom just stood by and let it happen. I definitely feel like our relationship will get better, but she still demands I do things for her despite my busy schedule, and I have to firmly tell her no. Second update 2 months later. This is my first time posting here. Someone told me on the r/relationship thread to check this subreddit out when I shared my story of being trapped in my parents' house. I'm still kinda timid about calling my parents narcissists, but them keeping me trapped at home for so long without so much as a second thought has been hard. Especially since my boyfriend's parents are in my life now. Since I moved out in September, my boyfriend's parents have gone above and beyond to help us. They don't even wait for us to ask. They helped repair some walls, they'd buy us lunch or groceries, and they got me a surprise birthday gift. They've come over more times than I can count, and they even came over and cooked us Thanksgiving dinner in our apartment. I invited my parents to come, but they ended up saying they couldn't. In fact, they haven't visited once. I visited a couple of times, but not much. I haven't spoken to my stepfather since my boyfriend and I sat down with him to tell him I was moving out, and all he did was tell me I couldn't do it and that I'd become a failure if I did, for a good hour. He listed all the mistakes I'd made in my life to the point my boyfriend felt like he had to defend me. I am by no means perfect, but I just wanted to leave. My biological father has visited me several times. He's been great and supportive. My parents, mom and stepdad, have not. They've never offered to help me with anything. My mom calls sometimes, but that's it. This month she invited me several times in the middle of finals to go ornament shopping with her. I said I thought that would be nice, but I'm working my tail off right now with both my job and trying to finish my final projects for school that my teammates bailed on me for, so I had to do the work of 4 people by myself. Ugh. She said fine. She called me Friday, said Sunday the whole family was going to decorate the tree and eat pizza, and asked me to come. Again, I told her I wasn't sure I could make it. My boyfriend and I, at this point, were staying up every night doing schoolwork together until 3 a.m. or sometimes 5 a.m., studying for final tests and doing projects and extra credit. I'll admit we had a rough year this year, but we managed to pull through with B's. But only because we did work this entire weekend. She told me my niece Chloe would be there, who is the sweetest 10-year-old ever that I helped raise, and I don't get to see her often. But I told my mom I might not be able to. I said I wanted to, but I had a lot of work since it's still finals week. She said okay and told me to let her know. The next day I gave her an update that I was still working, and she said, just come here for 30 minutes and we will feed you, which I thought was sweet. Still, I didn't make any promises and told her my boyfriend and I were still working our tails off. Because my boyfriend helped me this entire semester to stay afloat with school and kept me sane during the moving process, I wanted to stay up with him and do homework, so I did. We didn't get to sleep until 5 a.m. Today, Sunday, I woke up at 1 p.m. with a phone call from Mom. I picked it up, and it was my niece Chloe saying hi to me. Then my mom picked up the phone and asked when I was coming over. I told her I couldn't. I had just woken up, I'm utterly exhausted from finals week, and I don't think I'd be good company right now. Plus, I still had a presentation to record myself for. I am not good with time management. She said, okay, I got to go, and hung up. She hasn't texted me since. I feel awful. I told my boyfriend about it, and he got mad at my mom and reminded me that I never promised I would go. And he's right. I told her from the start I might not be able to come. I even told her any day after Sunday would be better for me because then finals week is done. The fact Chloe was there makes me feel awful too. I keep worrying that she was sad I couldn't make it, and my parents are just telling her I'm being selfish and that I just don't want to come. But I did want to. I just was physically exhausted and tired and still had more work to do. I know they are mad at me. But I did everything I could. I told them it wasn't a good time for me, and they didn't even try to change the day. I never said yes. I shouldn't feel guilty, should I? My boyfriend is frustrated that I feel like I owe them something when they've done nothing to help me transition into my new life. Are parents even obligated to do that? Are his parents just wonderfully nice? I don't know. There wasn't much point to this message. I'm just sad and can't sleep, and holidays are hard, and I didn't know where to go. Thank you to anyone who managed to read this garbage. I just needed to talk about it, I guess. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. You shouldn't feel guilty. She's being a jerk for trying to pressure you into making her happy with your presence on her terms, instead of accepting that you need to fulfill an immediate school need and can come later. She even tried to manipulate you, the way she framed the final ask as when are you coming over? Instead of are you able to come over? And having your niece say hi, that just gets my red up. First she tries to manipulate you by saying she'll be there. Then she actually gets the kid involved by telling her to say hi, then taking the phone away so that she could talk to you. That was clearly a play on her part. I don't know the answer to whether or not parents are obligated to help you transition, but yours are certainly not worth your effort, and your boyfriends are certainly lovely. I know it's hard to accept in your heart even if you know it in your head, but keep telling yourself that you don't owe them. See, they gave you life and all that jazz. And normally that warrants love, affection, and effort in return. But they decided that instead of taking your payback that way, they would instead deduct what they wanted from you. You have already paid anything that could conceivably be seen as owed through your heartache. You have no debts with them.